Hey guys, I'm Jacqueline.
I'm Marcella.
And we are on our way to the bookstore in the city. We got our Starbucks. Yay! And we got the book. We're going to the Morgan Matson's book signing.
We're really excited. It's at a small bookstore.
Yeah, it's
called
like,
McNally Books.
It's in an independent bookstore. It's actually very, very like downtown. Like we're in Soho, which is where Taylor Swift lives. Just saying.
We've been like keeping our eye out in case we see somebody famous.
Vlogging in public is so awkward.
I can't. I look like such a tourist right now.
Please join me in welcoming Morgan Matson.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming. This is so exciting. This is such a great group. And oh dear me, am I still? Hang on. Is that good? I have like such bad microphone luck. This one is ornery. Okay. How do you feel? Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I asked the other night. I was like, raise your hand if you can't hear me. And then I was like, that's a bad question to ask. That accomplishes nothing. I'm so excited to be here in New York because my editor's here, my agent's here, and so many people who did so much for the book and worked on it are here. The one who designed the beautiful cover is here, so it feels like this, even though it's not my hometown, it feels like this lovely sort of hometown moment. My mother is here, I have family friends here, so it's just, it's super exciting to be here. I'm thrilled, and thank you all for coming out. So I was going to talk a little bit about the book and then read from it, and then see if you guys had any questions. And if you don't have any questions, I've been doing this thing where I ask people to yell out a page number, and then I randomly read from the first sentence on that page that I see. And I do that until someone has a question. So that's been working out. So I'm here to talk about The Unexpected Everything, which came out 2 weeks ago yesterday. So it's still a brand new book. And it is about a girl named Andy who has always liked to plan everything. She sort of likes to have everything all planned out. And as far as she's concerned, she sort of has her life kind of all together. She and her dad, who's a congressman, seem like they have this great relationship as long as the cameras are rolling, but not so much when it's just the two of them. She has these 3 best friends. She wants to be a doctor, so she has this really prestigious internship all lined up for the summer. And when it comes to boys, she likes to keep it light, not too serious, and never more than 3 weeks. But right before her perfectly planned out summer begins, her father is involved in a scandal. And so suddenly he's home, like, in the same house with her, like, all the time. And she can't go to her internship, and the only job that she can find involves walking way too many dogs. So Andy is sort of at a loose end, but, you know, at least she gets to hang out with her friends, and she sort of begins to have this very unexpected summer. She, for the first time in her life, starts letting go of her plans and kind of going with the flow. And along the way, she meets a boy named Clark, and she begins to think that, you know, maybe this is okay. So it turns into this summer of diner breakfasts and too many emojis and scavenger hunts, and it's sort of the last thing she expected, but maybe the thing that she needed. But the question remains, is she really going to be able to let go of all her plans? And what's going to happen when the summer comes to an end? So that is The Unexpected Everything. So I'm going to read a section. We're still at the beginning of the book, and Andy has lost her internship and is desperate to find something to fill her resume, because the last thing she wants is a gap on her resume in the summer before college. So she is kind of desperate to take any job and has come across a listing and has kind of agreed to a job interview not knowing what this job is. So this is her about to go into this job interview on the phone with her 3 best friends, Palmer, Bree, and Toby. Just let me find the page. One moment. Okay. I don't like this, Toby said through my phone as I parked in front of Flask's Coffee and cut my engine. Me neither, said Bree. It was 2 days later, and I was on a conference call with all of them. But since Palmer was stage managing, she had to pretend she was paying attention to the play. She had one of her earbuds in, hidden by her hair, and could only say, "mm-hmm," occasionally. "Mm-hmm," Palmer said, somehow managing to convey great disapproval in 2 syllables. "Guys," I said, glancing through my windshield to the coffee shop, "there's nothing else. This is my best shot." "I'm pretty sure this is how kidnapping movies begin," said Toby. "And there's that scene where the girl is going to meet the person who's going to kidnap her, and her friends are like, 'No, don't do it,' but she does it anyway." "Well, otherwise there would be no movie," Bree pointed out. But Toby is actually making a point. "What do you mean, actually?" Toby asked, sounding offended. "I don't like that you don't know what this job is," Bree said. "Mm-hmm," Palmer agreed. I let out a breath as I smoothed down my dress. I didn't love it either, but I really was out of options. In 2 days since I'd found out I wouldn't be attending the Young Scholars program, I had tried everything I could to line up something for the summer. I'd been practically laughed out of the career office at school when I explained I was looking for something for this summer. Finally, I called the vaguely worded listing, and the girl who'd answered, her name was Maya, had seemed thrilled to get my call, and only too happy to meet whenever was convenient for me. After we'd agreed to meet at Flasks, my favorite coffee shop, and the place where I acquired my daily iced latte, and settled on the time, she'd said goodbye before I could find out what, exactly, this job was. "Look," I said, after pulling the phone away from my ear for a moment to check the time, "we're meeting at a coffee shop. I'll call as soon as it's over. It'll be fine." Palmer said. "I don't know," Toby sighed. "Aren't you at work?" I asked her. "How are you able to spend this much time lecturing me?" "I'm just being a caring friend," Toby said, her voice rising. And there was a pause, and when Toby came back, she was speaking much lower. "Actually, gotta go. Call me later. Don't get kidnapped." "Me too," Palmer whispered. "Call me." "Bree?" I asked, after they'd both hung up. "Still here?" "You don't think I have anything to worry about, do you?" "Nah," Bree said easily. "Putting up a flyer at a diner is a super inefficient way to go about kidnapping someone." "Thanks, Bee. I'll call you later." Bree said goodbye, and I hung up and took a breath before carefully stepping out of the car. I got the idea for this book. I honestly think the only reason I got this idea was, I don't know if you guys remember 2 years ago, but Twitter went down for like 2 hours. Does anyone else remember this? It was like scarred in my memory, and I mentioned this 2 days ago, and someone was like, "Yes!" Like they had never forgotten. They were like, May 16th. So Twitter was down, and the hardest part about that was that I kept wanting to go on Twitter and talk about the fact that Twitter was down, and it was like so frustrating. I think I took like an Instagram of me like looking sad and was like, "Twitter's down." So because Twitter was down, I didn't have my phone with me, and so I went to lunch at this like chili restaurant and had a notebook with me. And I think it was because maybe I was so close to DC, I was in Virginia, but I was sitting at this restaurant with no internet and thinking about what it would be like to sort of grow up kind of in the shadow of DC. What it would be like to grow up with your father who was a congressman, and sort of what that would do to you, and how that would sort of change your friendships and your relationships if you were always aware that sort of you had to be aware of everything you said and how you presented yourself. And so that was sort of the beginning of the story, almost exactly 2 years ago. And once I started thinking about that character, I started thinking, okay, so who would be the best character to be opposite her? And that's kind of where the character of Clark came from. In terms of, because Andy's a dog walker in the book, and someone asked me how I came up with the dog walking thing, and I was like, it really should have occurred to me much, much earlier. It's kind of the way, it took me a really long time to come up with Emily's name, and Since You've Been Gone, and my agent's name is Emily, and so I'd be emailing her, and I'd be like, Emily, I don't know what to name this main character, Emily. Like, what could her name possibly be? Thanks, Emily. And like, finally one day I was like, oh, it's been right in front of me. So I would try to figure out what I wanted Andy to do, because I wanted it to be something not glamorous, not prestigious, nothing that would help her. And so I'd take my dog Murphy on all these thinking walks, and I'd be like walking my dog, being like, what could she possibly do? What's a good job? As I took my dog for a walk, and then finally one moment I was like, it's been here this whole time. So that was sort of the genesis of the book. So one thing I just wanted to talk a little bit about before I open it up to questions my favorite thing about the book, I don't know if you guys have read it or flipped through it, but there are emojis in the book, which is so cool. And it still makes me so happy whenever I look at it, because it's like my favorite thing about the book, besides the cover, which is so gorgeous. But the emojis make me really happy. And basically, I have one of the friends who's on these text chains is here in the audience tonight. I have these text chains with my friends where it's like 4 of us usually, and it just goes on forever, and it's crazy, and it's to the point where if I'm driving and one of them gets started, I'm like, oh, okay, and I'll like pull over because otherwise it's gonna be like dinging at me every 5 seconds, and I'm not gonna be able to stop myself from looking at it. And generally they just evolve into pictures. Like it just becomes like a pictogram at some point, like no words. And if you look at any of my texts, it's just like pictures. There's very little text in it. So I wanted to show the text between this group of 4 best friends, and I wanted it to feel realistic. And I feel like if you looked at my phone, or probably most of our phones, there would be emojis in them. It wouldn't just be words. And so I mentioned this to my editor, and I was like, can we do this? And he was kind of like, I don't know. But I just did it anyway. And I was kind of like, okay, I can take it out. But then it kept becoming like more of a plot thing. Like it was getting to the point where it would actually have been like kind of hard to take it out of the book. And I was like, I hope we can figure this out. Meanwhile, it's this thing I thought would be fun, and Simon & Schuster's having all these like meetings with legal, and like it's going up very high as people are trying to figure it out. And it's just this like, I was like, I just wanted to do pizza and clapping hands. And like lawyers are having to figure this out, but we did it, and the brilliant designer who designed the book actually designed the emojis herself. So it's just so cool. It's like my favorite thing about the book.
So we just saw Morgan Matson last night, and we just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the signing and our experience.
Which was really cool. Okay, the place though, the McNally's bookstore, it was really small because it's an independent seller, but it's
that was our first time there.
Yeah. It was a little small. It was very small. They literally, their YA section was like this tiny shelf. Like okay.
I'm pretty sure that we both of us have more YA books than they had in their whole store.
It was pretty bad about that.
I think that because it's in Soho, it's more centered around other types of genres and not so much the YA like other bookstores like Books of Wonder and Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, if you're visiting the city, we recommend visiting Books of Wonder.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so the Morgan Matson book signing was, we got there really early, and we got to sit in like the front row, so that's why the video is like right there.
Yeah.
But she was really cool. Okay.
She was super, super nice when we met her. She had a Polaroid camera, so she was taking Polaroid pictures of everybody.
Yeah, that's really
so we got like
Polaroid
pictures of her.
And she signed them.
Yeah, she signed them. And
then she gave bags.
Yeah, she was giving out bags.
And then we got the book, and it's all signed.
We brought all the books too, so she signed all of them, which was really nice.
Yeah. Well, after the event, we had to go upstairs because they had another event coming at 8 o'clock, which was weird because this one was at 6, and I guess they didn't expect as many people that turned up as they did. And so we had to go upstairs, and we had to wait in this long line that was so hot. It was like wrapped around shelves, and they weren't even like nice shelves. Like they were about like, they're like health books. And
yeah, the actual bookstore I didn't like.
Yeah.
But she was amazing. Like, guys, if you can meet her,
nice.
Really go meet her.
Go.
She was just so nice. We actually, when we met her, I had mentioned that I was going to take pictures of her book and put it on our Bookstagram account. And she was like, oh, what's your name? And I told her, I was like, Drowninginfandomfeels. And she was like, oh, I think I know that. And she kind of like knew our name, and we showed her it. And she's like, yeah, I've seen that before because we put up pictures of her book. And it was just really cool that like she knew like our name.
She was familiar with it. And then she actually follows us now, and she liked the picture and commented, and we were freaking out.
Like,
and then we were talking to her about Luke Bryan and Taylor Swift and the Red Door. She's so cool. And I told her
one of the best authors that we've met.
I told her that if you read Since You've Been Gone, there's like the 2 best friends in it. And I told her, I'm like, we're just like them or whatever. And she was like, oh, which one's which? And we were like, oh, we have a little bit of each of them. And then she took a picture of us on her phone because she said we were like the real Emily and Sloane.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was really cool. And then I had my red heart-shaped sunglasses that I wear everywhere, literally everywhere, and she was, she complimented them, and she like loved them, and she was, I told her she reminded us of a Disney princess, and she was so
very
flattered.
like animated, like when you see her, she's very like, I don't even
bubbly
know, yeah.
and very animated, but she was super nice, and
yeah, we had a really good time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Go get the Unexpected Everything signed by her.
Yeah, I mean, if not, like, go see her next year, because I think that her tour is, like, wrapping up.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, but definitely go and check out all of her books. They're so good.
Yeah.
There's Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, there's Second Chance Summer, Since You've Been Gone, and now The Unexpected Everything. And
yeah.
I'm so excited to go read that eventually.
Alright, thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.